Hello, hi, and welcome to Basic Public Speaking. I'm Christy Thomas. I'm your professor and instructor for this course, and this is kind of just a check-in chat to discuss the final. Yes, I know, the final. Crazy to think about. But the module for the final, which is a persuasive speech, has been open for quite a while now. I've discussed this speech in both that module and other videos as well, and you've known about this due date, and the due date is Wednesday, December 10th by noon. That is the finals week of ACTC, and that is also the cutoff date for this course. I will accept no work past then. The last few weeks of this course, as in weeks 4, really 13, because we didn't have anything, lesson-wise. Everything's open in this course. Lessons, modules, assignments, all the goodies. The last 3-4 weeks of this course were set aside just for work weeks to get everything completed. Final storytelling, second round rhetoric, the final persuasive speech because it is our most technical, and then also any work that you have missed up to this point. I have been giving plenty of time to get all that done. So let's go ahead and just discuss and touch base. Again, in the module, you're going to find a Word document with the description and technical requirements and a video chat of me going over all those descriptions and requirements. And then along with it is a link to submit the video of yourself delivering the speech, and then a link to submit the outline/works cited because we'll follow that up when we get into the description. Your final speech for this course is a persuasive speech. We've already discussed persuasion and arguments in that module, in that lesson that week. The takeaway was, when it comes to persuasive speaking, you are wanting to change your audience beliefs, attitude, or value. Or you're wanting them to start or stop an action, or the bare bones of it all is that you want to sway your audience in the direction of your topic. So, there is formal, informal, persuasive speaking. With the formal realm, you're more on the political, kind of heavier side of your topic choice, and that could be creation of laws or mandates or tweaking of laws, or this is your heavier hitting stuff that you see in the news and the political world. Gun control, women's rights, voting rights. I am not giving a large list, but I'm just giving you an idea of what's discussed. Mental health rights, abortion, all those are in your super heavy hitting, formal, persuasive speaking world. That is the larger scope of persuasive speaking formality. But you can also do like more localized, like create, perhaps a turn lane needs to happen, or stop signs need to be added, curfews need to be added, age limits need to be changed on stuff. A school day should be short, like start later, or the school week should be shorter. That's also in the world. There's also legislative, judicial, persuasive speaking, and this is, we don't really talk about in this class, and we don't really steer that way with it as well, but that's, think of it in a courtroom setting when you're trying to get a jury to agree, to say guilty or not guilty to a crime or a defendant. That all falls in the realm of the judicial formality, persuasive speaking. But I don't want you to think all persuasive speaking is formal, because I don't want you to approach this. And by all means, you are more than welcome to. If you have a strong conviction and you want to put it out there, please do so. I'm not hindering you, but I also don't want you to fear, like, do I have to do a political speech? No, you do not. Because there's informal persuasive speaking, and informal persuasive speaking can fall into the realm of you're trying to convince your friends why you should go eat at this place after school. Or, and also ads and slogans and commercials and stuff like that fall under the informal realm of public persuasive speaking. And I say that because they are trying to get you to buy their product, try their product, commit to their product. So this is, it could be, perhaps you're telling me why this pizza joint is the best pizza joint, or it could be why this is the best shoe brand, why you should drive this car, why you should drive an electric car, or why you should drive a classic car, or why the case, it keeps going. And it can even be like why you should watch, perhaps you're really into Marvel films and you think you should watch them in chronological order. Not order of release, but how they would be watched if you were to sit down and watch them in time of the film itself, the setting. I hope that was clear. Or why this actor made the best Batman. Or it could keep going. You see where I'm going with here? So there's informal speaking. So you could do that as well. Or you could tell me why this chicken joint is superior to this chicken joint. But here we go. So you can be super formal in your choice of discussion, or you can be informal. Either way, you're wanting to sway your audience in the realm of your topic. If you want to tell us why we should stop smoking, tell me why. If you want to tell us why I should choose KFC over every other chicken joint, please do so. If you want to tell me why it's better to visit this amusement park over this amusement park, I'm dying to hear. Please inform me. If you want to tell me why a school day should start at 10 and not 8 o'clock, please do so. But here comes the catch. Whatever your topic may be, you must have 2 oral citations. So you got to back it up. It can't just be, I just don't want to get up early. Like, it can't just be that. Or I think it's a good idea. You may think it's a good idea, but I need you to be able to back it up. So the oral citations can come in forms of, and remember, we've discussed backing it up with contextual support and presentation and research. All that. There have been numerous times throughout this course we have talked about ways to back up your speech. And by backing it up, you're giving credentials to yourself. You're giving credentials to your speech. You're setting forth the trustworthiness on why the audience needs to sway with you. So with that being said, your in-speech citations can be direct quotes, and these quotes can come from, someone in the field, someone who has experience, an experienced person in the field, or subject, or area, or person, if you're talking about a person. But it can be like a direct quote. It can be a quote from an article. It can be a quote from a magazine. It can be a quote from from someone themselves, It can also, you can get your information from statistics. You can get them from blurbs. You can get them from websites. You can get them from articles, periodicals, books, series, newscast. There is and we discussed all the ways that you can research speeches. There is a plethora of places open for you. Now, I am not opposed. If your quotes, your in-speech citations, your oral citations can come from the same source, but it cannot be the same breath. Let me explain that. If someone is discussing a subject or a person or a law or this or that, you can't get 2 citations from the same, say, paragraph or monologue. They can be from the same source, but they can't be the exact same idea. So generally people that are really versed in a subject or have done multiple publications or presentations over said subject, you can find multiple citations. Okay. Also, what I'm allowing this year, I've just recently started allowing this. So say you're trying to convince somebody what to eat, where to eat. You can also include peer studies. What do I mean by peer studies? Perhaps you give out a questionnaire or trivia or blind taste test. Perhaps you get a group of buddies and you sit them down and you're just trying to figure out the best frozen pizza on the market. So you do a blind taste test. Your test varies from 3, 4, 5 different pizzas, and you have a panel of, a panel is generally 3 or more. Don't have like a huge, if you're doing a panel like that, I would go 3 to 5 folks to base it off of. And you do a blind taste test, you know, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. Each person tastes, they give it a rating 1 out of 5 stars, and they tell, you know, the crust is great, the salt, you know, they have details. You can reference that in your speech as well. So if you're doing that, I'm using pizza because it just seemed what came to my mind first. So in your panel could be like, well, say you have 4 on your taster panel. 3 out of 4 preferred the crust of the second pizza, which happened to be this, because they enjoyed the crunch of the crust and the ratio of thickness. You know, just what you want to do for the citation, because if you're orally citing something, you have to create an MLA citation, but it gets a little interesting when you do it this way. So if you're using peer, you know, questionnaires or testers or panels, whatever the case may be here, create a citation, just include, you know, just put panel, and then you would write, you know, their names. And that way you're giving credit to your panel, because it was, you know, it's not just your idea, but you're also basing it off of information from your panel. So if that makes sense. So the oral citation, well, when I asked my panel of, you don't have to give their names in the speech, you can just refer to it as your panel or your taste testers or your peer evaluations. You know, just include peer evaluations. Or if you did a questionnaire and say you used the entire class, you gave them a paper and they gave it back, or you created an online form, whatever the case may be, you would put online form, class, involve 15 students, 16 students of age ranges, you know, it could be, you know, 16 to 18-year-olds. You know, you don't have to give a detail, but you got to give me a generalized idea, and that will be attached to your outline. Is where you will also at the bottom of it put your works cited. So if you're giving an actual citation from a person, a magazine, a blurb, a statistic, a website, or whatever the case may be, there are apps and there are pages that you can easily go to, plug and chug your information, and it generates the MLA's formatted citation for you. Copy and paste that. I am not above using tools readily available. It is 2025. I have no problems with this whatsoever. So please use things and make things as less complicated on yourself as possible. With the outline, I have created a template for you. You're more than welcome to use. If that ain't your cup of tea, create your own. I'm not picky. Do what's easiest on you. All I ask, and this is in your outline, not your outline, this is in your syllabus as well. You cannot take a picture of an outline and submit a JPEG or a picture of it. You have to have a Word document, and that is in our syllabus. So be aware of that. So when it goes back to the requirements for the speech, you have an outline is due and a works cited, because the works cited is you are required 2 in-speech citations. If you are still confused on how to do in-speech citations, there is a module on in-speech oral citations, and then also check out news forecasts, like news reports. They are wonderful with in-speech citations, be it from articles or websites or accredited folks or blurbs or whatever the case may be here. You know, it's a really wonderful resource to check out. So this is your persuasive speech world. Details are in the module. This was just a quick little recap of what's going to happen and when it's due. So your persuasive speech, which is your final, is due by no later than Wednesday, December the 10th by noon. That is ACTC's finals week. And I will accept nothing past noon on Wednesday, December 10th. This module has been open for quite a while, and this due date has been available to you with every bit of communication, be it a video chat, a email, or an announcement. I like to put it out there. Plus, just Word documents alone on the main page of Blackboard stating remaining due dates, and there's also a video chat on it. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, or just need to chat to me, please reach out to me and get back to me as soon as possible. Also, a reminder that the cutoff date for this course is Wednesday, December 10th by noon. I will accept no work. So if you're missing anything, and whatever the case may be there, you have till that day to do it. Thanks so much. Bye.